Hey everybody, welcome to the G. Louise Book Series channel. I'm Christina, KRISTINADELUISE. And we're going to talk about Carolyn Haines, Bonefire of the Vanities. This is good. Aw, my pal here's a little. Oops. Come on, look. There we go. There she is. She's hiding. She's a good girl. Okay, now, let's see. Sarah Ruth Delaney is on the trail of a former brothel madam and her psychic daughter operating unusual business from a haunted estate on the edge of town. Marjorie Littlefield, an eccentric billionaire, has always planned to leave her fortune to her cat. But when medium Sherry Weston promises to reunite Sherry with her dead child, Sarah Booth is convinced it's a sham to separate a lonely woman from her fortune. So, we'll get to that in a minute. One of the things that pleased me about this book was because I came into this series kind of late. So, and it's, as you know, when you start a series and you find one that's been established and it's good quality, sometimes it's hard to find the earlier ones. So I came into this late. And I was complaining last time that Judy showed up and there was no backstory. And yes, if you've been a long reader of the series, you get it. But a line or two would have been appreciated. This book, we got the backstory, which I appreciated. Judy is the ghost of my great-grandmother's nanny from the 1860s. Like my ancestor Alice, Judy was a young woman during the war between the states. Working together, Alice and Judy managed to keep Dahlia House and the surrounding land intact after the war. During a great time of great hardship and deprivation, they were strong, determined women who didn't let the worst circumstances break them down. They were not quitters, and I need to remember that. Good backstory, good concentration. I also liked Judy has a tendency to show up, and when she shows up as different people. And it cracks me up. And this one little piece, I knew spontaneously who it was. I hadn't finished the paragraph, and I knew who she was. Where's Ned? She demanded. He was supposed to bring the convertible around to the front of the house. I've got a hot lead. I think I know the resolution for the case of the hidden staircase. There you go. Do you know it? Do you know it? Do you know it? Do you know it? I need the car, and I need George, and I need to strike while the iron is hot. Nancy Drew. Did you read Nancy Drew when you were a kid? So, she's got a little issue, and it started with the last book. And he was out filming his movie or TV show, and she did that detective thing for the insurance thing in the last book, and I went off on the last book. I went off at the end. She had all these chances to call for help, but she never called for help, and she did by, and it was just like, ugh. And we will get to that because the lady in question is mentioned in here. But so her boyfriend is like, it's either this or me, and she's like, but this is my life, this is my career, this is who I am. If you're gonna marry me, you're gonna marry me knowing who I am, right? You're not gonna change your ways if you've got this career. If you maybe a policeman, a detective, an army person, whatever, and your spouse is like, it's either me or that. They have to know that this is who you are when they met you. You had this career or this job or whatever when they met you. So they shouldn't expect you to change just for marriage. You should still have the career. You should still be able to do that. And so they're having this back and forth little thing, and he had given her an ultimatum on the phone, I guess. And Ziddy says to her, "It's one thing to receive a ring by mail and quite another to return it. Daddy's girl rule number 63. Never break up by letter or phone. The severing of an engagement demands a personal meeting. To do less is to dishonor what you shared. Both parties deserve a chance to fully express their feelings. Good Lord, do you realize people are breaking up by text message these days? What is the world coming to?" Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Sex in the City, didn't somebody break up by post-it note? I think. Am I remembering that wrong? I'm pretty sure. um, and the point I was started before was there are so many people in this world who've had relatives pass away unexpectedly, or tragically, or mysteriously, or whatever. And people who, there are some legitimate people out there that can do seances or mediums or whatever. The Bruce Will I See Dead People. That was a good movie. Um, But there are that many more that are shysters that just want your money, that will stretch it out. Oh, give me $5. Oh, I saw her, but she left. Come back tomorrow and give me $10. And then, oh, she said these 2 words, and then come back the next day and give me $20. You know, they stretch it out and get your money. And so what was the other thing I wanted to mention real quick? This was such a good book, and the ending was a little twisty. It wasn't as bad and dangerous as the last book, which was just like had my blood pressure running like crazy, because I was just like, she's in danger, she's in danger, she's in danger. But it was a little twisty. We thought you knew, you suspected this, and then every time you suspected something, I was like, oh no, they outruled this person. But in the end, there was a twisty. There was a couple of twisties at the end. And it was good, multi-layered, and we're happy and pleased that the Graf and Oscar show up and help participate. So that means that they accept their wives' occupation, right? If they're coming to help and they're coming to participate, that means they accept you for who you are, right? And poor Pluto. I'm pretty sure I think she's gonna take him. I'm not sure. But gotta love cats. Cats are number one. All right, they can be equal with dogs. But what did I want here? Oh, Ziddy shows up again, and she cracks me up. What are you doing here, pretending to be Angela Lansbury, acting like Jessica Fletcher? First Nancy Drew, now the sleuth of Cabot Cove. I could see nothing but trouble in my future. I love Judy. I do. She's got to give a little more though. She's got to provide a few more clues or a few more hints. She's so vague. You know, sometimes she just comes to chit chat or to tease Sarah. So I mean, some of her I like her costumes though, but it sometimes takes Sarah too long to figure it out. But what did I want this page? I don't know. My first thought was to intervene, but the ghost couldn't hurt a human. Spirits might scare a person into a coronary, but physically they had no power. At least Judy didn't. But enough was enough. As I pushed back my chair, the ghost spoke. We share some things in common, Sarah Booth. Who are you? I mentally asked. Better yet, why did she know my name? A colleague. What do you want? Why can't they see you or hear you? I stared hard. I knew this woman, but she wasn't a ghost. She was a smart character in a series of mystery novels. I said this before. If you have read Sue Grafton, and I will eventually get to her books if I can find an early one. I had one and then I gave it away. I love Kinsey, and she says, smart, tough Kinsey Malone and clad in the world famous indestructible black dress. Your P.I. Malone. And Kinsey, my biggest frustration with Kinsey was that she was like a more of a, even though she lived in the 80s, she was more of a gumshoe detective. And almost every, well, not every, but a majority of her circumstances, if she'd had a cell phone, instead she had to hunt down a payphone. Do you remember those? And we read all those books, and I will do a thing on those books later on. But poor Kinsey just entered the cell phone range when Sue Grafton passed, and it was so sad. We'll never get to find out what happens. There was I should do a video on that, but there was a whole bunch of rumors, and none of them ever came to fruition. So I guess they were just fake rumors. But anyways, um, this was such a good book and such multi-layered. Some of it you saw coming, and some of it you didn't. Oh, Judy's last character. She was Sarah Partisky, V.I. Washharski. You remember that TV series? But this was good. It was multi-layered. Several people get killed. And because they knew stuff, it's multi-layered. There's several different people doing several different things, different layered. Person A is here because of political scandal and she wants to take care of it. And then another person is here to do this other thing. And it's really multi-layered, and there's some a little slightly sort of kind of, this is not as G-rated as the previous books. So maybe PG, slightly more adultish in some situations. It was kind of good to see the butler get his comeuppance. He was such a stick in the mud. Worse than a stick in the mud. He's not the lovable Somerset that we all know from the other books. This was a different butler type, and he just had evil written all over him. Yeah, he reminded me of sorta, slightly, the Downton Abbey butler. He was a little more prim and stiff, but this guy was a little on the sick side with his personal stuff, but that's his personal stuff. But I just wanted to tell you this is a really good book, and oh, I forgot to say at the beginning, to please like and subscribe. It's really important that you like the videos. It's important. I just want you to, I'm not a computer expert. I'm not doing all those fancy things. There's millions of videos out there. Well, if you do this, you gotta hold the person's attention, and you gotta do this, and you gotta do this. I'm me. I read books, and then I talk about them. And I had to do this one because I had done 2 others out of my wheelhouse this week to try and expand, do stuff that other people might be interested in. And one of them was like, oh god. The other one wasn't too bad. And then I have 2 more that I was trying to do, and I just couldn't. And one of them had font of like an 8 with no spacing. So I decided to give myself a treat and take a break from trying to do out of my wheelhouse and do something that I knew I would enjoy, and I did enjoy this. It's really good, and at least we didn't have too much food in this one. The last one we were eating so much it was crazy. Sometimes some of the food ones, some of the tea ones, some of the scones ones, some of the the Nigeria Reseda ones. I remember the sisters. They're forever cooking. Angela's forever cooking. I gained so much weight. If you eat Janet Ivanovich and you read Stephanie Plum, and we'll do her books at some point too, they eat an awful lot of donuts. And I drive by Krispy Kreme, and I think of Janet, and I see Janet, and I think of Krispy Kreme. They just go together. But anyway, This was really good. I really enjoyed it. I've ordered the next two, so we'll see what happens. I've got a whole bunch others to take care of, and please like and subscribe to the channel. It's really important. Um, Other people have channels explode, but they've got more talent than I do with computers and editing and all that kind of fancy stuff, and I just don't have that kind of talent. So if you could just please like and subscribe to the channel, it would be so much appreciative. Um, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow or the next day. I've got a pile of books to be read. So please like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this, because Sarah, her and Tinky, sometimes, it's kind of frustrating that, but at least this time she called for help. That was another one of our biggest pet peeves in the last book. But please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.